Most people who hurt you the most were never strangers. They were the ones you trusted completely, the ones you defended when others doubted them, the ones you let inside your walls while you slept in peace, believing you were finally safe. That peace, that was the trap. And the moment you understand this, you will never see loyalty the same way again. Look, there's a dark truth hiding underneath every relationship you've ever built. It's not comfortable, it's not romantic, but it's real. And ignoring it has destroyed more lives than any enemy ever could. Niccolò Machiavelli understood something about human nature that most people spend their entire lives refusing to accept. He didn't believe people are evil by default. He believed something far more dangerous. He believed people are loyal, only as long as loyalty benefits them. The moment the benefit disappears, so does the loyalty. Quietly, without warning, without guilt. Think about how naturally you trust. You meet someone. They smile. They say the right words. They seem warm. And within weeks, you've already handed them a piece of your heart. You didn't interview them. You didn't test them. You simply assumed that kindness today means loyalty tomorrow. This is the first mistake almost every human being makes. And it's the exact mistake Machiavelli warned about centuries ago. He watched kings fall, not because of armies, but because of advisors who smiled in the morning and betrayed them by nightfall. He watched alliances dissolve the second power shifted. And from all of it, he drew one brutal conclusion. Trust is not a gift people deserve. Trust is a risk you must manage. Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. How many people in your life have stayed loyal to you only because things were going well? How many disappeared the moment you needed something real? Maybe it was a friend who vanished after you lost your job. Maybe it was a partner who turned cold the moment you stopped being useful, emotionally or financially. Maybe it was a business partner who smiled in every meeting, then quietly built something behind your back. This isn't bad luck. This is human nature behaving exactly the way it always behaves, under pressure. Here's the part that stings the most. The betrayal rarely comes from people who never liked you. It comes from people who genuinely did, but liked their own interest more. Machiavelli never said people are monsters. He said people are self-preserving, and self-preservation will always outweigh sentiment when the stakes get high enough. That's not cruelty, that's survival. And the moment you accept this, something inside you stops being naive and starts being strategic. Most people confuse trust with vulnerability. They think opening up completely, sharing every secret, removing every boundary, is what makes a relationship strong. But Machiavelli would tell you the opposite. Total exposure doesn't create loyalty, it creates leverage. Every secret you hand someone becomes a weapon they may never use, until the one day they do. This is why the wisest people in history were rarely the most open ones. They were the most observant ones. They watched behavior, not words. They tested character through small moments, not big promises. Let me give you a brutal example from real life. Picture two friends who built a business together. One handled the ideas, the other handled the operations. For years, everything looked perfect. Trust seemed unbreakable. But the moment the company became valuable, something shifted. Slowly, meetings started happening without the other person knowing. Decisions started being made quietly. By the time the betrayal became visible, the damage was already done. This isn't fiction. This is a pattern that repeats endlessly, across families, friendships, marriages, and empires. Machiavelli studied this pattern in kingdoms. You're watching it happen in ordinary life. Why does this keep happening to good, kind, trusting people? Because kindness without observation is an open door, and open doors invite people who were never meant to walk through them. The world doesn't punish trust. It punishes blind trust. There's a massive difference between believing in people and being foolish about people. Machiavelli never asked anyone to become heartless. He asked them to become aware. Awareness isn't the enemy of love. It's the protector of it. Now here comes the twist that changes everything. The most dangerous person in your life is rarely the one who openly competes with you. It's the one who quietly studies your weaknesses while pretending to support your strengths. They learn what hurts you. They learn what controls you. They learn your fears, your insecurities, your private doubts. And they store this information, not for friendship, but for future advantage. This sounds dark because it is dark. But pretending this never happens is exactly how it keeps happening to you. So what would Machiavelli actually tell you to do? Not to stop trusting people completely. A life without trust is a lonely prison. Instead, he'd tell you to stop handing out trust as a reward for charm. Trust should be earned through consistency, not through comfort. Anyone can be kind for 30 days. Few can remain loyal when loyalty costs them something. That's the real test. Not how someone treats you when life is easy, but how they treat you when your value to them disappears. There's another hidden lesson buried inside this philosophy, one most people overlook completely. Machiavelli believed perception often matters more than reality, not because truth is unimportant, but because most people respond to image, not substance. This means the people who appear the most trustworthy are not always the most trustworthy. Charisma can hide cruelty. Confidence can hide manipulation. The smoothest talkers are often the ones who have practiced the art of appearing safe, while planning something entirely self-serving. This is why so many people get destroyed by those they least suspected. Suspicion was never on the loud villain, it was always focused elsewhere, while the real threat smiled beside them the entire time. This is where most people make their second major mistake. They believe loyalty is permanent once it's given. They believe history between two people guarantees protection in the future. But history means nothing to self-interest. When self-interest changes direction, people don't betray you because they suddenly become evil. They betray you because circumstances shifted, and their loyalty was always conditional on those circumstances staying the same. This is uncomfortable to hear, but discomfort is exactly what creates wisdom. So how do you protect yourself without becoming cold, paranoid, or isolated? The answer lies in something Machiavelli mastered better than almost anyone in history: the art of controlled trust. You don't need to trust everyone fully or no one at all. You need layers. Give people access based on what they've proven, not based on how good they make you feel. Feelings are temporary. Patterns are permanent. Watch how people behave when they're tired, stressed, jealous, or under pressure. That version of them, not the polished version, is the truth. There's one more brutal insight hidden beneath all of this, and it might be the most important one. The people who hurt you the most were often given access, not because they were powerful, but because you allowed yourself to feel too comfortable to question them. Power doesn't come from controlling others. Power comes from never losing awareness of yourself, your boundaries, and your worth, no matter how close someone becomes. The moment you stop observing the people closest to you is the exact moment betrayal becomes possible. This philosophy isn't about distrust, it's about discipline. It's about refusing to be naive in a world that constantly rewards those who study human behavior over those who simply hope for the best. The strongest people aren't the ones who never get betrayed. They're the ones who learn from betrayal so deeply that the next manipulator never gets close enough to repeat it. So the next time someone smiles a little too perfectly, agrees a little too quickly, or claims loyalty a little too loudly, remember this dark truth. Trust is not built through words. It's built through consistency under pressure, sacrifice without reward, and presence during difficulty, not just during comfort. Anyone can stand beside you in the sunlight. Only a few will remain when the storm arrives. This is the brutal lesson Machiavelli left behind, hidden inside centuries of political chaos and human betrayal. Never confuse charm with character. Never confuse comfort with safety. And never assume that someone who hasn't betrayed you yet never will. Especially if their interest in your downfall has simply not yet outweighed their interest in staying close to you. The world isn't designed to break trustworthy people. It's designed to test them. And only the ones who learn to see clearly, without becoming bitter, walk away stronger, wiser, and finally, truly free.